Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're tackling something I know we all feel on a daily basis, our absolute obsession with speed. We're going to unpack author John Mark Comer's really fascinating insights on the ruthless elimination of hurry. If you're constantly feeling like there just aren't enough hours in the day, or if you're just running on fumes, you are definitely in the right place. Let's get right into it. So, the famed psychologist Carl Jung once dropped this really jarring thought. He said, "Hurry isn't of the devil, it is the devil." And the Holocaust rescuer Corrie ten Boom actually echoed a very similar, kind of chilling sentiment. She noted that if the devil can't make you do something wrong, he'll simply make you relentlessly dizzy. Think about that for a second. Being constantly slammed with tasks can literally have the exact same corrosive effect on your inner self as doing something blatantly wrong. Crazy, right? Which leads me to ask you straight up, are you suffering from hurry sickness? We're going to treat this explainer as a bit of a diagnostic journey. We really need to unpack this modern epidemic because it's fundamentally changing how we interact with our families, our work, and honestly, ourselves. The stakes here are pretty high. All right, let's dive into this. What exactly is this thing we're fighting? Well, psychologists actually have a clinical name for it: hurry sickness. It's defined as the constant feeling of not having enough time, which results in rushing through tasks and getting easily flustered. This isn't just some quirky personality trait, you guys. It's a fully recognized psychological condition that is absolutely plaguing our fast-paced society today. Let's do a quick self-check here. Psychologists Rosemary Sword and Philip Zimbardo laid out 3 classic signs, so ask yourself honestly. 1. Are you constantly switching to shorter checkout lines at the grocery store just to save, a grand total of 30 seconds? 2. Do you frantically count cars at stoplights to pick the theoretically faster lane? And 3. Are you multitasking so intensely that you completely forget one of the tasks you were actually right in the middle of doing? If you're nodding along, yeah, you've got the sickness. I mean, we all do these things, but when you step back and say them out loud, it sounds completely exhausting. Now, quick caveat here. Not all busyness is inherently bad. There's meaningful busyness, which is the joy and fulfillment of having an engaged schedule full of purposeful things. But the real threat is pathological busyness. This is the soul-crushing stuff. It's when you're facing these impossible demands, so you desperately speed up your mind, your body, and even your relationships just to cope with the sheer volume of it all. At that point, you aren't living, you're just accelerating. And honestly, living at that kind of crazy pathological pace, it's ultimately incompatible with a fulfilling life. Just look at Bill Gates' incredibly blunt assessment of it. He said, "Busy is the new stupid." When we operate in this state of a constant pathological rush, we entirely lose our ability to be present, to think deeply, and to actually connect with people. We're essentially trading profound living for a really frantic, surface-level existence. But let's look a bit deeper. Author Ruth Haley Barton outlines some more advanced clinical symptoms you can check yourself against. Things like irritability and hypersensitivity, emotional numbness, priorities that are completely out of whack, escapist behaviors, like endlessly binging Netflix or scrolling your phone into the void, and neglecting your spiritual practices. This beautifully, or, I guess tragically, illustrates how this sickness goes way beyond just being stressed out. It slowly rots away our emotional and spiritual core. To put some actual hard data behind all this, think about the number 20,000. Professor Michaels Igor surveyed 20,000 Christians specifically about their spiritual lives. And do you know what the primary block was to their relationship with God? It wasn't what you might expect. It was simply busyness. Across the board, pastors, doctors, lawyers, this pathological rush leaves people intensely vulnerable to burnout, and it completely severs their connection to anything greater than their daily to-do list. Okay, moving on. Comer brings up this really fascinating concept to explain what's going on here: the illusion of speed. We're all out here hustling, thinking we're making this rapid progress. But this illusionary speed is actually acting like a veil. It actively closes our eyes to the intricate details, the profound beauty, and the wisdom that is embedded in the world right around us. Which brings us to the cure, and we really need to let this sink in: slowness. Now, slowness is not just passively withdrawing from the world and doing nothing. It is a mindful engagement with the profound intricacies of existence. Deliberate slowness is absolutely the crucial treatment for our hurry sickness. There's this gorgeous metaphor in the source material about the moon. So, scientifically speaking, celestial bodies like the moon are whipping through space at a massive velocity, right? But if you go outside tonight, sit quietly, and just patiently observe it, the moon appears perfectly still and deeply peaceful. It requires a deliberate, unhurried posture from us to actually witness its majesty. The author actually taps into some Eastern Orthodox traditions to explain this dynamic. These traditions suggest that this kind of unhurried observation is a vital practice that literally heals our souls. By stripping away our modern illusion of speed, we can finally align ourselves with the grace of the universe. It allows us to witness what they call the divine choreography that's constantly at play all around us. All right, so how do we practically do this? We need what ancient traditions call a rule of life. Think of it like a trellis under a vineyard. A vine absolutely needs a rigid support structure, right? Otherwise, it just collapses under its own weight and can't bear any fruit. In the exact same way, our lives require a structural framework of rhythms and practices to support us and keep us from collapsing. So what does building your own trellis actually look like? Well, it's all about intentional boundaries and daily steps, prioritizing silence, solitude, and prayer, fiercely protecting your rest and actually taking a Sabbath, caring for your physical body through healthy eating and exercise, and finally, engaging deeply with a meaningful community. The vital thing to remember here is that this isn't about adding more to your plate. It's about intentionally choosing life-giving rhythms to replace that frantic rush. To wrap up our core takeaway for today, pathological busyness is the great enemy of a joyful, connected existence. But if we can ruthlessly eliminate hurry from our routines and adopt our own rule of life, we get our freedom back. We foster genuine relational maturity, and honestly, most importantly, we reclaim a profound sense of peace and purpose. Which brings me to one final question to leave you with. What are you going to ruthlessly eliminate today to find your peace? Will it be that extra hour of mindlessly scrolling, the urgent need to constantly switch checkout lines, or maybe that impossible standard of trying to do 5 things at once? Take back your time. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I genuinely hope this empowers you to go out and build a beautifully unhurried life.